Hi guys, it's Emily from Novelle Novels and welcome to today's video. This is my 2022 wrap up. Now, what I thought I would do is I would start off with some stats, then I would look at some of the stuff from last year and wrap it up that way. So, first stat is I read 418 books. This is added up from my journal, not from the Goodreads, because some books don't always go on Goodreads. So this is added up from my journal. Here's the number of genres. I read 1 horror, 1 poetry, 1 dystopic, 1 sci-fi, 1 like fiction, because it didn't really sort of count as contemporary. But now it's where it goes really good. I read 20 thrillers, which I'm really happy with. 22 fantasy, which I'm very happy with. 35 non-fiction, 47 classics, again, both of which are really, really good. 122 historical fiction, and 168 contemporary. Both of which I'm fine with. When I was actually looking at them, like, on my little journal, my other journal, this is my sort of more of a scrapbook journal, I sort of found out that I'd done, like, on average every month I was reading like 12 contemporaries, but sometimes it went higher and sometimes it went lower. According to this, I read the most books in May and March. I read 39 books in May and 38 books in March. The month I read the least book was actually November. I thought it'd be February, but I have been the last 3 months of the year being statistically reading around about 33 books a month, which is again really, really good. I'm really happy with that. My average star rating was 4.13, and that's according to Storygraph, which I'm now using, which I love, by the way. I really love that. The most read authors, according to that, are Paige Toon and Heidi Swain, but I want to go into a bit more of that later. Like I said, the best reading month star rating wise was March, where my star rating was 4.33. And the worst rating month was February, which is only 3.52. That surprised me, because you would have thought that would be good. The most popular book that I read, according to Goodreads and Storygraph, was Pride and Prejudice. The least popular book was actually Royally Doris, which is a book that I did my first beta read with. So that was a book that wasn't even released when I did it. So I wonder when I do it now, because it's been released, whether I do it in March, whether that rating will go up. That would be quite interesting. I hope so. I will link Charlie's channel down below. That was actually a really good part of my year, was doing my first ever beta read for Charlie and getting to read Royally Doris before other people did. I absolutely loved it, and I can't wait to read it now that he's edited it a bit more. I'm reading that in March. That was quite a highlight. The longest book I read this year was Bleak House, which we already know was a bit of a flop. The shortest book I read was The Night is Darkening Around Me, which is the short poetry collection I've got by Emily Bronte, and I'm really happy with that. So now to sort of some, what was I thinking? Right, oh yeah, so here we go. My unread TBR at the start of 2022 was 441, and I managed to get it down to 371 books at the start this year, which was, again, really, really good. It could have been better, but December I got loads of books, so as you would have well seen. I actually, according to this, met all my goals. And now that's when I'm going to go over the goals, and then I'll talk about, like, surprises and some other books. So, sorry about this, guys. I am full of cold again. Typical. Right, so the first goal was to read 300 books. Read that. Read well more than that. The second goal was to reread 1 book a month. I did that, but I don't know if that was because I did things like the read-alongs for, the read-alongs for Anne of Green Gables. I read all of Paige Toon's books all over again. So I kind of think that doesn't really count. So my goal for really this year was, I don't know if I put this in my goals, was to reread one of my classics. So that was mine. No, reread one of my favourite books of the last couple of years. So that's a new goal that I'm setting myself. In January, again, I'm kind of cheating because I'm rereading one of Paige Toon's books. But actually, and I could technically count that February, but I'm actually in February. I'm now going to add a different book to that. So I'm going to look on my shelves and find a different book that was a favourite to read in February. So goal number 3 was to get to my 1k subscribers, which I did. I'm really happy with that. I'm currently on 1009 of the day of filming, but it does keep hovering around about that. 1010. But I got it. I got the goal. I didn't think I would. So I'm happy. The fourth goal was to host a readathon on my own. I did that with my birthday bonanza. Number 5 was to read a thriller a month. We all know I met that. Read a non-fiction a month. I met that. Read 15 classics. Well and truly thrashed that. Do at least one live show on my channel. Thanks to the lovely Gemma from Gemma Books I did that. I am really sorry guys. I cannot edit my films because I'm useless at editing and... Oh, sorry. I am having... This is fun. This cold has been lasting for like weeks. Right, so... Thanks to the lovely Gemma from Gemma Books. I have actually hosted a couple of live shows for our Choose Law Along. And I will be doing one for my birthday this year. So I'll be doing that one around about my birthday in March. I'm not sure exactly when. The next one was to reduce my unread TBR to 400. Did that again. The next one was to complete 5 series. I actually completed about 9 or 10. So again, happy with that. Number 11 was to do more reading vlogs. Did that. Didn't do many. Don't really enjoy doing them. So that's something I'm not going to go ahead with. And the last one was to stick to 5 buddy reads a month. And I did that. Kind of. Mostly. But I'm happy with that. So then I had classics to read in 2022. Where did I put that? I cannot remember. The Way We Live Now. Read that. Did enjoy it. Was alright. Bleak House. Read. Didn't particularly enjoy. Vanity Fair. Read at the start of the year. Thought was okay. The House on the Strand wasn't my best Stephanie du Maurier, so I didn't really like that. The Woodlanders I did kind of enjoy. Number 6 was the Sherlock Holmes collection, which I didn't enjoy as much as I wanted to. Number 7 was The Days of Oscar Wilde, which I loved. Number 8 was Mrs. Dalloway. Didn't enjoy that. Number 9 was Age of Innocence. Didn't really enjoy that. And number 10 was Middlemarch. God, I picked ones I didn't really enjoy. Going forward, I hope my 2023 classics are a lot more successful. So now I wanted to talk about some of the books that sort of stood out to me. This is not going to be a long video because I am full of cold. Right. The worst book of the year to me was The Girls by Emma Cline. It wasn't one that hit me. I didn't enjoy it that much, so found that a bit of a flop. And 2, the most disappointing book was Things in Jars by Jess Kidd. It was one I had so many high hopes for, but one I didn't particularly enjoy as much. New to me authors that have really stood out have been Kristin Hannah. I read Firefly Lane and The Four Winds. I'm not going to tell you too much about The Four Winds because it is going to be my top book of the year. I'm not going to tell you where, but this one was another close contender to go in the favourites for the year, Firefly Lane. I really enjoyed it. Don't like the screen adaptation very much though. And another new to me favourite author is Heidi Swain. I've literally now read all of her books. And this book was the highlight of the year for me. It was a book that I got sent for an ad PR product by Tandem. And it really cemented my love for this author. This book is not my favourites for the year because it's part of a series that I don't like having series books. But it is an honour. I wanted to mention it in this video because it's my favourite of this series. And it's about Beth who works at a care home and she meets Eli and it's set in Nightingale Square and I really, really love this series. It's one of my favourite series of the year as well. Oh, I can't remember the blooming name of the series, but it is such a Wimbridge series and it's amazing. And I love this author. She's always comments on my posts. She has been really great and she's one. If you like contemporaries, try her. My mum really loves her work too. Some of the series that I loved this probably is actually the series that I love the most, and that's the Percy Jackson series. This is the last in the series, but I'm sending them gradually to Jack from February Joy. Because although I enjoy them, it's not a series I want to reread. Let's have a look. See, I think. Right, so now I'm going to go over the series books for the year. I read the Wolf Hall series. The first 2 books were alright. The last one really annoyed me. Anne of Green Gables series I loved, but the start and the end ones are my favourites. The Nightingale Girl series was alright, but I don't think it needed the last 2 books in this series, because that was a kind of average. Loved the Percy Jackson series, like I just said. The Comfort Food Cafe series by Debbie Johnson. She's a new author that, again, I really love all her books. But all her books are... all the Comfort Food Cafe books are sort of set around certain people in that series, and I really enjoyed it, but like they were very emotional. And the Beach Street Cafe series by Jenny Colgan. I loved that, and that was another one. I'm keeping all of Jenny Colgan's books. But so I did read some amazing series in this year. Now, the book that surprised me, which is again in my top books of the year, and that is The Paper Palace by Miranda Cowley-Hellier. I did not expect to love this. It has had mixed reviews. It was on the women's shortlist, I think, and I didn't expect to love it, but I did. Really, well, my next Monday, my favourite books of the year video is coming out, and I will talk more about, obviously, all my favourites, but safe to say this is on that. But I told you 2 books that are on that series. But that book was a really big surprise for me. Paige Toon is not going to be on my favourite books of the year because she didn't have a new release, but she's got a new release coming in April, and I will be reading that. And now I just want to briefly talk about the highlights of the year, and one of them, the biggest highlight was obviously hitting my 1k subscribers. Didn't expect it, can't believe it. Obviously we're doing the Q&A with my sister at the end of January, and I'm just over the moon. I had some other highlights were the fact I got to meet the lovely Alice Morales' Giant Bookshelf and Jem from Gemma Books. And I know I wasn't like going to go on about these people because I shouldn't really, but both those 2 people, plus Jack from Spread Book Joy and Angie's Book Chatter, and Danny, who was previously Danny's Book World, who hopefully will come back. We've got grown a new sort of group on a new sort of chatty group that we chat to, and they have become like Booktube besties, and I literally love every one of them. So meeting obviously Alice and Jem this year was a really big highlight. It was amazing. Obviously another highlight was obviously doing my birthday read along, my birthday bonanza read along. I didn't expect to do that, and it was really good fun doing that. I've grown as a channel, I've grown in confidence, I've grown to love I've grown to get better at being more confident at who I am. I kind of overdid it a bit, I think, last year with like readathons and read-alongs and everything else. So I am spending 2023 being a bit more better at self-care, I think. Another highlight for my personal life was joining Baz Books, which is a charity in my local town, and I work there 1 day a week, and it's actually got me to actually buy less books, which I didn't expect. So that was a big personal highlight for me. And yeah, I don't know what else to sort of talk about. My stats are on Goodreads if you want to look them up. I've had a really great reading wise, 2022 was a great year. Personal wise, we had 2 bit of family sort of difficulties with my mum and my younger sister being poorly, so that was quite hard, and being poorly ourselves and stuff. And I've had a couple of relapses on my chronic pain, but go forward, I'm going to do this. I'm going to be positive to myself and be a lot more gentle on myself in 2023. So let me know in the comments down below, what have been your highlights of 2022? I'd love to know. Any books that have been a highlights? And I hope to see you all soon. Bye bye.